Welcome back to Inside the Idaho Vandals with the women's basketball coach John Newley. I'm Dennis Patchen. Now that the season has started, how do things change?
Well, it's nice to be playing people. I can tell you that. I thought, we came out against the Zags with a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of confidence. Played extremely well up in Spokane. A game I feel like we should have won if we had done some little things right. And a good learning lesson, a great first game, and off we go.
Now, we know that when the season starts, there's game preparation. When you're getting ready for an opponent, they do this, so you go through that kind of stuff. Do you do different things in practice once the season starts as opposed to the month-long lead up to it?
Yeah, we do. We cut back on the fundamental stuff we do, the individual drills. Everything's more team-oriented now. As the season progresses, we kind of, we got to fix things up on offense. We got to fix things up defensively as a team. So it's more 5-on-5 things as opposed to the one-on-one stuff and 2-on-2 that we do earlier in the year.
Do you experiment in the first few games of the season to try and figure out how the new kids fit in, how the kids coming back are going to play? Is that a little bit of a chess game?
Yeah, it's a chess game, and it'll be a big chess game this year because Allie Ford's playing volleyball too. So, we're going to be missing her games. We had her up against the Zags, which was awesome. She played great. We won't be having her for a while here. So, different combinations. I got to find combinations to take her place. We'll go small ball, I think, at times with Christina playing the 4, and the new kids trying to fit in. Yeah, this year is interesting in the preseason with the volleyball dynamic thrown in.
What's your theory on a preseason schedule before you get to your conference schedule?
I try to make it as tough as possible without, going crazy, and wrecking confidence. But I think, I like to schedule tough to get ready for conference because it is all about winning the league for us, for sure. We're in one bid league and we're going to be, and, we need to win that conference tournament to get to the NCAA tournament. So, I want to get in tough environments. I want to play different styles. I like to play the Pac-12 teams, Big 12 teams, WCC, and just try to get a big mix of everything that we're going to see in our league so we can reference back once the conference season starts.
Yeah, I mean, people have to remember that. It is a one-bid league, and it doesn't really matter what you do until you get to that week in Las Vegas. I mean, so... Yeah. There's a different way to put a team and to put a season together when you have to be your best, especially at the end of the season.
Yeah, definitely. I could go schedule softer, and I really believe even last year we would have been a 20-win team. We could do that again this year. I'm confident of that, schedule-wise, but that's not going to help us get where we ultimately need to be, which is the NCAA tournament. So, everybody kind of gets up in arms in November. Oh, the Vandals are down. Oh, December. But, come January and February, I want us to be playing our best ball and then peaking in March.
Coaches want to separate seasons. Last year was last year. This year is this year. But you do have a lot of kids back. You did have a team that won a WAC championship. You did play an NCAA tournament game. How much does the end of last season help with the start of this season?
Oh, it's been awesome to see the start to this year. Our confidence level is huge. And those freshmen are only sophomores still, still young. But man, they got a little swagger to them this year, going in. And you could really see it in the Zag game. They were not intimidated at all. They're playing the 25th ranked team in the country, and it was like nothing to us. We went in and played our game, and like I said, ultimately should have won the game. But our confidence level's huge. It kind of infests the whole team. The young players can feel that. So they come in confident. I thought our freshmen played extremely well against the Zags.
Anything surprise you in that first game?
It surprised me.
In a positive way.
Well, in a positive way, it surprised me how well our young players did come in and play. And even the freshmen becoming sophomores, because it wasn't such a great experience the year before. And so to come in and really flip it around like we did against them was great to see. And it kind of translated from the practice to the game, that confidence level that I felt from our team.
When you transition into playing games, how much different is it mentally for your players as opposed to a lot of the first month of the season is a physical, let's, do A, B, and C now, but how much now is it becomes a mental game?
Well, it's huge mentally because October is the drudge month. You know, I mean, our players know it. There's no game in sight. They're coming and practicing, 3 hours a day, putting in the time needed to become a great basketball team. So to see the ultimate goal is hard for the players. We certainly see it as a coaching staff, but to show those young players especially, hey, this is what's going to pay off if you keep doing this in October, is tough. So once we kind of got in November and it was game week, man, I saw a huge difference. A little pep to the step was back, and they knew it was game week.
Does that make your job then easier when there is games, or do you think they're more likely to, I don't want to say do what you want to do, but just understand because now there's a bit of a reward there?
I think so, and I think you're right. I think players are more receptive, come season time to what we're doing, and they really got to focus in because now it's also scouting the next team as opposed to doing what we need to do. So there's a lot more mental preparation involved, and they are a lot more focused come November.
All right, what do you want? I mean, coaches always have goals for their teams. What do you want to see in the next 2 weeks? What do you want to see before the end of the semester here at the university? What are you looking for out of your basketball team right now?
I want to see us rebound better and get more physical into the glass. I think that's something we still need to do and really get into people on the box outs. I want to see us take better shots. Our shot selection needs to get better, and some of that's my fault because in practice they're making shots that they probably don't need to be taken in the game. So shot selection, rebounding, I think, and defensive communication are going to be huge for us.
All right. Good luck. Coach will be joining us throughout the year on a weekly basis coming up after the first of the season as we get into the heart of the season, and thanks for joining us. And good travels here in the non-conference. You never know what you're going to get in this type of the season.
No, we don't. Thanks, Dennis. Appreciate it.
All right. When we come back on Inside the Idaho Vandals, we will have more, including volleyball, getting closer to that WAC conference tournament. When Inside the Idaho Vandals continue.